All right, Nick, big win today for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the New Orleans Saints. This is a defense for the Saints traditionally over this past season that's been pretty tough. Steelers come out, they score 20 points, but the offense in point scoring is not what we're talking about today. Today, it was all about the Steelers' defensive return to form, Nick. I think TJ Watt was back, the leader of this defense, and it kind of helped a lot of younger guys go off. Specifically looking at the stat sheet here, Casey and Wallace both had interceptions. Looked like a lot of good performances. Highsmith had 2 sacks, so that pass rush from TJ Watt allowed him probably to get in there and finish the sacks off a little bit better. Just overall, Nick, this was a big day from this Pittsburgh defense, holding the Saints only to 10 points. It really looked night and day difference. We did the video last week talking about TJ Watt coming back, how big this was going to be for the Steelers and how much of a difference this is going to make. But Nick, outside of TJ Watt, there's so many great players on this team, and we want the Pittsburgh fans to tell us in the comments below. After a big win, who was your MVP of the game? Let us know in the comments below who stood out to you, who impressed you the most. But Nick, let's get into this Steelers game. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so the Steelers, of course, famously are known in the fourth quarter of games, towards the end of games, they play that classic rock song, Renegade, right? Well, I think the classic rock song here that actually makes more sense today for Pittsburgh is The Boys Are Back in Town. And you hit on it, nail on the head there, talking about TJ Watt, Larry Ogunjobi, Casey coming back into the fold. And this defense, when they're healthy, when they're at full strength, they are just a bear. They were absolutely monsters today. And this was even with TJ Watt on a little bit of a snap count, on pitch count, I should say. They didn't want him to go full board just to, get him more brought up to speed without risking any other injury or things like that. But even just his presence had a big impact. You highlighted Alex Highsmith with 2 sacks, had a big day. Even though it was a short time, TJ Watt, I think, had 4 tackles, got a quarterback hit, a pressure in there, just made Andy Dalton's life really, really rough for the New Orleans Saints. And this Pittsburgh Steelers defense did a fantastic job. And people forget, even though the Saints have kind of underperformed a little bit per their expectations this season, this offense from New Orleans has been putting up points, right? They put up 24 against Vegas, 34 against Arizona, 26 against Cincinnati, 39 against Seattle, 25 against Minnesota, and on and on and on. This is an offense that has scored a lot of points, talking about the New Orleans Saints. And this Pittsburgh Steelers defense shut them down, shut them out in the second half, only gave up 10 points total, and they held them on the yards game too. I got the stats here. The New Orleans Saints, this is with Alvin Kamara, Jarvis Landry's back, Chris Olave's a Rookie of the Year candidate, right? Andy Dalton's played a lot of football. He's a good, solid quarterback. The New Orleans Saints had only 186 yards of offense, 3 for 12 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down. Just an outright dominant performance from this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And I think we're going to see a lot more of it the rest of the season now that TJ Watt, some of these other guys are healthy and back into the fold.
Yeah, Nick, and you bring up Andy Dalton. Let's not forget, this is a guy that is very familiar playing the Pittsburgh Steelers on the Bengals. He had lots of experience against Pittsburgh. So if anyone who I would say is like a backup tier quarterback at this point in their career came in against a Pittsburgh team, he would be a guy that I would check mark on my list, a guy that could potentially do well. So it very props to them again, Nick. And I really want to focus on the secondary because it's been kind of a turnstile rotation of guys coming in and out. And I think settling into this current state of the secondary for the Steelers looks really nice. You have Sutton, who's obviously an excellent player. Wallace on the other side, who looks like he's coming into his own a little bit. Obviously, Edmonds has been good. And Casey being back, it kind of sets that defensive safety corner position up. And they don't have to worry about it so much anymore. And I think this will help the pass rushers get home. I think this will help the linebackers play a little bit better. I just think overall, this is going to help everybody out. What the Pittsburgh really needed all of this season is stability in all positions. Coming back from injury, getting guys back in the position, letting them gel together, knowing each other's habits. That's going to be the big thing going down the stretch for the Steelers. And I think today's game kind of showed, even if you have a little bit of stability, the Steelers look like a good team. It looks like a good defense, and I think they're playing a lot better over expectation.
Oh, 100%. I think you hit the nail on the head. There's a little bit of the formula here with that stable environment. You got a young quarterback. Kenny Pickett had a few nice runs today, managed the game okay, missed some throws. But when you have that level of defensive performance against a pretty quality New Orleans Saints offense, I mean, they held Andy Dalton to like 6.4 yards per passing. That's terrible when you consider the weapons that the Saints have. The Saints are a very explosive team. I think they didn't give up a reception. Their long reception here is 18 yards to the tight end Troutman. That's outstanding secondary work by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is their formula for long-term long-term success. Healthy, stable defense. Kenny Pickett manages the game. They run the football a little better, and this team can be a winning football team. This is 100% a step in the right direction.